Hey, I'm Jay Smith from Livid Instruments here with Moldover and Travis Redding. We're here to talk about our new product, Guitar Wing. This is a product that we've been working on over the past year. We've been designing and developing this product together. And it is basically a wireless MIDI controller that attaches to any guitar. So this has really been a product that we've been developing for the past year, but we've been talking about for the past 10 plus years. I started by designing MIDI controllers into guitars, so did Travis, and so did this guy. So we all got together and started working on this device. So Matt, how did we get from you making your own MIDI controllers to us collaborating on this device?
Well, we worked together, I think, on the Mojo about 4 or 5 years ago, which was my custom MIDI controller. And I remember showing that to you in a prototype at NAMM one year and talking about how we could collaborate on making it. And it wound up that a Livid brain, that circuit board became the brain of it. And Travis made the enclosures, those mahogany boxes. And so that was a successful collaboration. And I think we've been in touch since then whenever we're doing a project. And I've had success in various collaborations. But this seemed like a really great opportunity because I have this recent experience designing my controller guitar. I've been playing it really intensely for the last couple of years, and it seems like Livid's, creations in the past and most recently, like it's a fertile opportunity for collaboration now.
I think really, it really started for me back when I created my first MIDI controller in around 2000. I met Travis around 2001. He was making bass guitars with MIDI control built into it. And that really spoke to me when I saw his instruments. And then a few years ago, you and Ben from Visionary Instruments made the Robocaster, and I remember seeing that, and that was like an aha moment for me. I picked it up at NAMM and was like, wow, this is a guitar I'd actually buy. And I haven't bought a guitar in about 10 years. So I thought that was great, but then it was like a couple $1,000s, and I was like, okay, maybe I wouldn't buy a couple $1,000 MIDI controller. But that kind of sparked the conversation where we were kind of like, well, we've been working on this Bluetooth technology for a while. Our manufacturing capabilities have increased since we started the company, and I think now the time is right to make a device that you can attach to any guitar. So maybe you guys can talk a little bit about how we decided on the shape and how we decided on these controls.
Yeah, well, Travis, I think you've played a big part in how we're going to attach this thing to a guitar, because it's a big. I think what's great about it is it can attach to any guitar. That was one of the issues with the Robocaster is it's a custom-made professional instrument. It's going to be very expensive, and there's a lot of players who already have fabulous guitars that they're already in love with. It'll be a lot more popular instrument if we can make it so it works with any guitar, and I think
there's been a lot of versions of the Wing over the past few months, over the past year actually. We started out with very simple ABS plastic forms with no controls just to get the shape right. We overlaid 4 different guitars, 5 different major body styles to get it to fit, and collaborated a lot by distance. We would mail different versions to Matt. Matt would fit them on. Matt's been pretty instrumental in helping us come up with the right layout. Using the experience from the Robocaster to come up with controls that were actually ergonomic for a guitar player to build.
Yeah, the ergonomics are part of what really excites me about it, because that was one of the things about the Robocaster that made me feel like it was a really relevant and kind of new instrument. Like MIDI controllers aren't new, guitars aren't really new, but doing something that integrates so well into the guitar and even laying things out, in orientation similar to strumming and orientation similar to tapping, like techniques that I already know as a guitar player, resulted in this thing that I think only a person who plays guitar and controllers,
Yeah, well, this is all Matt Moldover right here. These controls, this was strictly inspired by the Robocaster, and it turns out to be an extremely natural way to play the device. How the buttons are laid out.
I think that with this design here, especially when I first picked up the Robocaster, if you don't mind holding that, what I liked about it is I could play guitar and then still have these controls right here. So it didn't take away from that natural guitar playing. And then from my early days with the Viditar, I liked most of the control. I had controls all over it, but most of the controls I used were right here on the horn. I didn't have any strings on my instrument, so it was all buttons. So the experience was a little different, but from a ergonomic, way of playing an instrument, holding it, being able to use your left hand to play, and then your right hand to do other things. I mean, it's a really nice kind of expressive surface that's right here. We played around a lot with putting it up here, putting it back here. In fact, the way we developed it, if you really wanted to, it's detachable, so you could play with it up here. You could play with it back here. There's a lot of different positions you can put it in, but this right here seems the most natural for natural guitar playing performances. And then you have the Robocaster type controls that Matt had, especially these, which I thought were great. It's real easy to do pitch shifting and being able to quickly trigger. You can play drums, you can play instruments right here with these velocity sensitive pads. And I thought that was a really important part of the design. Is not just what kind of controls you have, but how the controls are laid out and how you can easily interact while you're playing guitar. Because we didn't want an instrument that was a MIDI controller and then a guitar. We wanted an instrument that was a guitar with a MIDI controller. So you're not taking away from one to play the other. I think that was a really important decision in the design of the instrument.
Yeah. Well, I love how it's kind of evolved. This is the first time I've really worked with a team to design an instrument. Up till now, it's like with the Mojo and the Robocaster, they were more like quick and dirty things or things that mostly came out of my mind. But this was really a collaborative effort, and I appreciate that we kind of went back and forth on pretty much every detail of this thing because I think in a number of ways, like with the attaching mechanism and enclosures and materials, like Travis has all this knowledge and experience that I don't have, and you like running Livid and having designed a whole line of controllers over the years and understanding manufacturing and business a lot better than me. It was really cool to just offer as much expertise as I could in what I feel I'm really good at, and drawing from your talents as well, I think.
Yeah, I also really think it was important to have Vernon Reed involved because Vernon comes from a I've tried every technology with my guitar, but not on my guitar. And he has kind of an odd shaped guitar. So the Parker is not a standard shaped guitar. So not only do we have to find something that fits on a Moldover guitar, or Moldover has a ton of experience with controls on his guitar, but someone who's never played a MIDI controller on a surface other than, a tabletop, really giving them that kind of control, really that kind of fits naturally with the way you play. And a lot of that experience comes with you playing the Robocaster and seeing, how do you play guitar and play a MIDI control at the same time, which is something you've been working on for quite a while. How do you create music and, like your Mojo, for example, that was your instrument. You don't look at the computer, you just play and you have your controls in front of you. I think we have the same kind of approach here, that you're not playing a keyboard, you're not triggering a computer, you're just playing an instrument that has some extra controls on it.
Yeah, and I think it's great that we got feedback from other guitar players, because something I realized with the Robocaster, making that an instrument other people could access, is that other people are going to use it in totally different ways, and I think the ergonomics will translate to whatever. But I know we've already talked about we've already gotten into the design of the software, the wing effects, and people like triggering samples, people like looping, people like controlling their DAW. There's like all these applications for this, which I haven't really gone through because I have a Mojo and I have other controllers dedicated to that. So I think when this thing gets out there, we're going to see a lot of people do really interesting things.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you've always done, is try to create unique instruments that have never existed before and seeing what people do with them. And that's kind of what we have always done as well, is create these controllers, these instruments, and say, it doesn't do this one thing. It's a platform to do whatever you want with it. I mean, I look at it as like a guitar. There's a reason there's so many different styles of guitars, because people like different styles, and you can tune it any way you want. You can add foot pedals, to kind of create your own sound, and that's what we do with our controllers. Is we create a canvas for you to work with, and a nice set of controls ergonomically laid out, so you can utilize them to, create a new style and a new way of playing. With this product, we decided to turn to Kickstarter because this is not only a brand new product for us, but a brand new product for the market. There's really nothing like it. The closest thing to it would be Matt's Robocaster or one of our MIDI controllers. So it's really taking a guitar and one of our controllers and combining them. So with the Kickstarter, we really need to reach out to a whole new market of people that are interested in, really changing the way that people think about guitars and digital music and, interacting with iOS devices and softwares and, shaping this changing sound of music as electronic music and traditional music kind of combined. We have this new genre, and I think we're all kind of, especially you, Matt. I mean, you play guitar, you play a lot of instruments, you also play controllers. Like, we've talked about this before. How do you combine, electronics with real traditional instruments and, come together, which is really the main reason we're doing this Kickstarter, is to get people aware of this new thing that's happening and the things that are changing for guitarists.
Yeah, this is a new avenue for Livid. It's our first controller that we've done that works directly with guitars. The other thing is that most of our instruments are a little more technically challenging. This device is designed to be very easy to use. There's going to be a standalone software VST that's going to allow you to put this on your guitar and start playing it pretty quickly.
Yeah, it really turns it into like a virtual effects box that you can, like a stomp box style effects, filters. You have the motion control, and that's great for the person who's never really used maybe open GarageBand or maybe recorded a track in their computer, but it's never really gotten in depth into Ableton Live, Max MSP, applications like that. But with the Kickstarter, really hope to get a bigger community involved and see what people are going to do with it beyond our effects suite, lighting, visuals, looping. Yeah,
and I think Kickstarter is just a great platform for new ideas and also just kind of a new way to do a whole bunch of things. I just did the Kickstarter for my album and realized it wasn't just a way to like raise funds to record this album. It's also a way to like get the word out there about the product. It's also a way to draw my community too and just pull in like we're already doing with other artists and being like, here, try this thing, see what you can do with it, tell us what you think about it. It's just a whole group of activities that are really helpful when you're doing
we really
something
hope
new.
to engage the community and see what you out there are going to do with the wing, see how you want to use it, get feedback from you. Also hear from other developers, software developers, iOS developers, hardware developers. How can we help you integrate our product into what you're doing? So, we're all pushing the boundaries of music and guitar playing. So I think Kickstarter is a super important part of what we're doing, and it's a way to get you guys involved and get feedback and really get you back what we're doing here and what we hope to be able to provide you.
Thanks for watching. Please support the campaign.